Hi guys, welcome to The Makeup Hunter. I'm Laura. Thank you for joining me today. I thought it was about time I sorted myself out and started filming. In today's video I'm going to do a get ready with me using some older makeup products in my collection. I also want to have a good chat about a few things that have been on my mind lately, so it's going to be a chit chat get ready with me, but I'm also going to be talking a little bit about my makeup collection, my hopes for this channel and the content that I want to film, and I'm also going to give you a little bit of a life update. I realise that in previous videos I've never really talked much about myself, my situation. It's all been very much I bought this, I bought that, I bought this. So I thought today we would just have a good old chit chat really. The makeup isn't going to be the main focus, it's just a way to sort of focus my mind and talk about the things that I want to. So if you want to see me put some makeup on and hear me ramble on for probably far too long, please keep watching. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, please, please, pretty please. So anyway, all that being said, let's get started. Okay, so I've already done all my skincare. My skin is so dry at the moment. My moisturiser just isn't cutting it, so I've also got an oil on top of my moisturiser. It's been sinking in now for about 15 minutes, so it shouldn't disturb the foundation. And I've got a lovely chip pan glow going on. Just excuse me while I have a little sippy sip. This Black Country Museum mug cup from the Peaky Blinders evening that I attended. One of the places I miss the most since the pandemic began. One of the first places I shall visit when everything's open and lifted. Anyway, I've got totally off track again as usual. So I'm going to start with my Becca under eye brightener, and while I'm applying this I'm just going to start talking. I do find it hard to talk about just normal things on camera. I find I get a bit self-conscious and I worry that I'm like rambling on too much and that people aren't going to be interested in what I say, so I tend to literally just talk about makeup and keep things very sort of focused on the makeup. And let's just start doing some makeup. My base today, I'm mixing Maybelline 24 Hour Superstay Full Coverage Foundation with a little bit of IT Cosmetics CC cream, excuse me. I find the Maybelline Superstay is extremely full coverage and is a little bit more full coverage than I really like to wear, but it is also my favourite drugstore foundation. It's the one that I go to if I want my makeup to last for a really long time and be completely flawless. So I'm going to put this on and let's just have a chat. So there's been quite a bit on my mind lately. things that I want to do with the channel, sort of ideas that I've had, but there's also been some huge barriers in me doing said things. So firstly, I think it's going to be best for me to talk about a little bit about my situation and why these things may be a barrier. So basically, hi, I'm Laura. I'm 36 years old and I live with my parents. I moved back home a couple of years ago after having my own place with an ex-partner. When the relationship broke down, I moved back home. It was only supposed to be a temporary measure. The idea was that I would get a little apartment of my own and everything would be hunky-dory. One of the reasons that relationship broke down was because I have a chronic illness. Well, I have a couple of chronic illnesses. I have stage 4 endometriosis. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome and IBS and several fibroids. The fibroid, the endometriosis and the PCOS all combined together cause me a hell of a lot of problems. I am in pain every single day of my life. There isn't ever a moment that I am not in pain, to the point that I've now got used to the pain in some respects and can function quite, you know, the sort of pain that would perhaps knock somebody off their feet is normal to me, so I can just battle through. But over the years, I got diagnosed in 2016 after about 5 to 6 years of problems and several week-long stays in hospital. So I was diagnosed in 2016, had surgery to remove the endometriosis, but was told it was only a temporary fix and that I would probably need to have a hysterectomy. My relationship didn't work out. He found it very difficult to cope with a partner who was ill. I moved back home and just carried on with life. I had a job that I was unhappy in, and at the end of my relationship I found another job. Basically within a week of getting the new job, he ended the relationship. So it was almost like everything came to a halt at once, which was a massive shock to the system, but I'm fine. That was, you know, I'm glad the relationship is over. I absolutely love living with my parents, but The reason I didn't end up getting my own place as planned was because after 12 months working at the new job, which was a brilliant job, I absolutely adored it, I was really happy there, but my condition got to a point that every week they were calling an ambulance for me. I was in and out of hospital, and the company, you know, fair play to them, they tried to support me as much as they possibly could, but eventually they basically put me in a position that I had to resign. I didn't hold any hard feelings towards the company, because at the end of the day, like I said, they supported me for as long as they possibly could, and a business is a business, and I worked in the financial services industry, in a very busy, fast moving role. You know, these things happen. So I had originally planned to just find another job, and then I was deemed unfit for work. My condition has reached a level as such that I am unfit to work. My condition, my pain flare-ups strike without any warning whatsoever. I have been driving in my car and had to pull up on the side of the road, get out of the car, and then passed out on the pavement because of the levels of pain that I have. So how can you hold down a job like that? So I have been sort of put into a position where I'm having to start all over again. I had decided to use my qualification of makeup artistry. I'm a qualified makeup artist, and I had decided at the end of 2018 that I was going to pursue that qualification as a career finally, and do mobile makeup. So I was going to do like weddings, parties, proms, that sort of thing. And as I said earlier, over the years my condition has just got worse and worse and worse. And I ended up having to face the fact that makeup artistry and my condition do not work together. The simple act of standing and doing a makeup puts too much pressure on my body, so that I can be absolutely fine whilst I'm doing it, but then the next day I'll have a flare up. And the way I felt was, how could I run a business like being a makeup artist and be put in a position where I would have to let, say, a bride down on her wedding day? I couldn't cope with that. Like, morally, I just don't think it's right. So I've had to look at other avenues, because regardless of whether doctors, medical professionals have said that I am unfit to work, I do not accept the fact that I am never going to work again and earn a living. I just don't accept that. I've always worked, I've always had good jobs, and I'm a clever girl, and I just can't, the thought of being unemployed for the rest of my life, it doesn't compute with me. So I am doing things to try and better myself for the future. However, my condition, as I've said a couple of times, just is getting worse and worse and worse. And my consultant is not seeing patients during the pandemic. I've had 5 consultant appointments cancelled. In my last appointment with my consultant, it was decided that further surgery was going to be done to see the extent of the endometriosis, and if there was any other problems that can't be picked up on a scan, and then we were going to discuss options of treatment. And then, of course, coronavirus hit, and I couldn't see my consultant to arrange what we would do, you know, surgery going forward, all of that. So 2 weeks ago I hit rock bottom. I had been in constant pain. In January I had a flare-up that lasted 11 days. So for 11 days I was in constant searing pain that had me screaming the house down and crying constantly, on morphine constantly, so I was out of it all the time. And it's just been like a consistent thing, so like long flare-ups without a break, not having any good days or bad days. And I phoned my GP and left a voicemail basically begging somebody to help. So they contacted my consultant, who has put me, who told my GP to basically put me into the menopause. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably would have heard most of this and know about this situation, because I talked about it on there. But basically I had injections to put me into a medical menopause 2 years ago, and was told I couldn't have any further injections because the medication can bring on the early onset of osteoporosis. So they don't like to give you or to have you in that state for too long. But I have now been told that as long as you have, so you can have it for 6 months, have 6 months off, then another 6 months. You just need to give your body an extended period of recovery time. So the consultant has basically said for me to have the injection just to sort of tide me over until I can see him and we can look at a more permanent option. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know my condition has no cure. There's no cure for endometriosis. I know that. I know it's never going to get better. I'm never going to be normal. But I feel that I should at least have the chance to eke out some sort of normal existence for myself. So if I can just manage to have like a part-time job, and to sort of be able to run my own home again, you know, that sort of thing, that's really all I want. I just want to have, you know, some semblance of normality. So all of that waffle and oversharing is basically to say, as much as I want this channel to work, and this means a lot to me. YouTube is something I have always wanted to do, but I was always too self-conscious, or didn't have a good camera, or, you know, there was always a reason why not to do it. And then I finally got a camera and decided I was just gonna do it. I don't expect to have a big following or to have hundreds of views per video. I don't really even care if nobody watches any of these videos. It's just an outlet for me. It's a way to sort of, okay, the lighting has changed slightly. Ray, my pup, has broken my ring light. So while I've been gone, I've just put a little bit of eye primer on, and some setting spray. I realised I haven't talked about any of the items that I've used on my face so far, but I'll put them in the description box below. I'm ready to move on to my eyes now, and for my eyes I'm going to be using this palette, which is full of Makeup Geek and MAC single shadows. It's like my neutral palette of dreams, and never ever gets used. I also want to incorporate this palette, which is some INGLOT Freedom System shadows. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the numbers of the shadows as they are in this palette, and I can't find my magnet to get them out of the palette, and I don't want to wreck the shadows. So I'm going to get some shadow on my own. I'm just going to finish what I was saying. So basically, I think the gist of what I was basically saying just about this channel is that as much as I want it to work, and as much as I, you know, the mind is willing but the body's not able, I have so many things that I want to film, but if my body decides that it's not going to cooperate, then it's not going to cooperate, and I have to accept the fact that, you know, on days when I'm in flare, I can't even have a shower, let alone film, you know, put makeup on, film a YouTube video, do all of that sort of thing. As much as I want to, I just am not able to. So filming has been completely sporadic. It is literally just as and when I am able to. And what I've been trying to do is, when I'm having a good day and I'm able to film, I've been filming a couple of videos at a time, so that I've got, you know, I can just lie in bed and edit if I'm able to, and upload them. So ideally I'd like to have a regular upload schedule, like twice a week or something like that, but I can't commit to that. Unfortunately, it's just not possible. It's not realistic for me. I mentioned that I am doing several things to try and better my situation, and one of those things is I'm currently doing several online and virtual courses. So that has to be my priority. So my health comes first, and then my courses that I'm doing. I can probably count on two hands how many times I've done my makeup this year, and that isn't through, you know, lack of desire. It's just lack of being able. I've just not been able to. I just used this colour, and I'm now going to go for this colour. I want something quite cool toned, like purpley, smoky today. So that is that on my condition, my channel, why my uploads are so sporadic, why some days when I'm able to film I might be a little bit lower on energy than on other days. Also, you've probably noticed my hands shake. That's because that's my body's reaction to pain. My hands are always shaking. Some days it's worse than others. Some days I'm like, ooh, really, really bad. But yeah, so I am just basically trying to film as and when I can. I've got all my ideas written down in a notebook so I don't forget what I want to do. And I will get to them, I will film them, I will upload them. It just might take me a while. So let's try this again. I have been just fraught with problems tonight, and I'm about to give up. My bedroom is due to be completely gutted, redecorated, and I'm having all new bedroom furniture. The most comfortable I am is when I'm sat on my bed, but that is not conducive to putting a camera and a ring light. So far, just filming what I have, I've had to stop and start, reposition the camera. My ring light's broken. It's just an absolute nightmare. So I need to work out a better area to film and a better setup that sort of like will tide me over until my bedroom's done. Because my bedroom is due to be done this year, I have been thinking a lot about my makeup collection, and that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. I have a huge makeup collection, more than anybody could ever use. Over the course of last year, I focused on downsizing my collection. Had got it to a place that I was really happy with. Everything fit into my storage really nicely, and everything I had I absolutely loved. And over the year, that collection has grown again, and I'm now at a point where my storage is overflowing. Pallets have spilt out onto work surfaces. The storage that I use to store my lipsticks in, I can't shut the one drawer. It's just at a place that I'm really not happy with. I also am finding that as I was doing my declutters and that last year, I had products that were expiring. So I made the decision to do a Project 10 pan and a Shop My Stash. So the way I was doing my Project 10 pan is I had 10 items that I wanted to finish up, and then as one, either I chose to declutter it or finished it, I would roll in another item to replace it. My items that I chose were things like foundations, primer, concealer, some skincare items and hair items, hair products, which is all well and good. It's great, you know, as a makeup hoarder, it's really exciting when you finish a makeup product. I also decided I was going to do a Shop My Stash, so I would have an everyday makeup bag that I would use over the course of 3 months, and then every 3 months I would swap the items out and have a fresh everyday makeup bag. I started this at the end of last year, so I think it was at the end of October last year. Changed my bag over at the beginning of January, and I find that obviously the idea with doing that is you only use the items that are in your bag, and it, you know, it gives you the opportunity to get a hell of a lot of use out of the products that are in your bag. It's great because it allows me to get ready quick. You know, I don't have to get anything out of my storage. It's all in a makeup case and I can get ready and I'm sorted. But in February I applied makeup 5 times and stuck to my Shop My Stash items, so stuck to my everyday makeup bag, didn't deviate really, except when I had some new items for birthday and Christmas and stuff. But for the majority I stuck to what was in that makeup bag. And the problem I have run into is that because I wear makeup so infrequently, one, I'm not getting the use out of the items in the everyday makeup bag, but I'm also completely disregarding the whole of my makeup collection. So since January I haven't even opened my makeup storage, and in my eyes that seems such a waste. So what I was doing that I thought would help me be less wasteful, I'm now feeling like it's making me more wasteful, and it's also making me a lot more conscious of the fact that there's items that are going to expire that I'm not even going to have touched because I can't, because they're not in, you know, my everyday makeup stash. So whilst it felt like a great idea at the time, and for a while it did work for me, Project Pan and Shop My Stash, just, I don't feel like it's working for me anymore. The way I look at my makeup collection and the way I'm looking at a lot of things lately is, why am I restricting myself to just certain items when I bought the products? They're mine, they're in my collection, so why not just use what I want when I want? You know, by limiting myself to a certain number of products, it's taken a little bit of the joy of putting makeup on and getting ready out of it for me. It's like that thought of, oh, I have to use those products, and like the thought of, I've only got this much foundation left, so I need to use it every time I do my makeup so I can get rid of it, so I can pan the item. It's not realistic for me to use items up completely with a collection my size, and I've come to the realisation that I love having a lot of makeup. It's never been a goal of mine to have a small curated makeup collection, because I just love makeup far too much. There's too much that I want to buy, there's too much that interests me, there's always a product coming out that I want. So to sort of say to myself, I'm gonna only have 2 foundations, I'm only gonna have this, I'm only gonna have that, it's not realistic for me, and I'm lying to myself by saying, you know, I'm gonna get through the products, curate my collection down, and then not buy new makeup products, because I just know I'm not going to. I've been doing a low buy this year, which has really made me analyse my spending habits. So I'm not buying as much makeup as I was, but I've had a lot of makeup bought for me because it's been Christmas, it was my birthday at the end of January, so my collection is growing. I'm not getting into debt, I'm not throwing away loads of money. I allow myself one purchase a month. It's no big deal, I've realised, if I go over that, as long as I'm not spending silly money. I'm focusing on sorting my finances out, so why not enjoy and make the most of my collection, get the joy out of it that I used to get out of it, experience different products in my collection, rather than just thinking to myself, I've got to use this and I've got to use that. You know, if I want to have a luxury day, have a luxury day. You know, there's been a few drugstore items that have grabbed my attention recently, that I'd quite like to try out. So if I do this Shop My Stash and Project Pan, I'd say buy those items, which is what's happened with my birthday and Christmas presents. I've had the items bought for me, and then I've left them in a box and left them up a corner because they're not in my stash, they're not in my everyday makeup bag. And the only reason that I was going to use the products was in a video. So it just seems like I've got the whole thing completely wrong, and it's not working for me. So I've decided to stop my project Tempan. I have decluttered quite a few of the items that were in my project Tempan because I'd got to the point where I was just sick of them. I was sick of using them. I was using them for the sake of it, and it had made me resent the items, which is what I think these kind of projects can do. So I really don't care if I finish items, if I hit pan on things anymore. You know, it's nice to think that I'm getting my money's worth out of a product, but at the end of the day, the money's already gone, the money's already been wasted as soon as I purchased the product. So it's not like by using an item up I'm getting my money back. The money's gone. So why not just enjoy my collection for what it is, a big makeup collection. And I'm a very, very lucky girl that I have all this beautiful makeup to use as and when I want to. So that's something that, you know, I've been thinking about and has been bothering me. But on the flip side of that, my collection is out of hand at the moment. It's more that it's messy. I have always been very anal about my makeup collection, storage, the way I really do look after my makeup. And you know, my room can be a disaster, but my makeup area and makeup storage will be absolutely pristine. But because it's got to be a bit overwhelming, my makeup storage and all of that is getting a bit untidy, and it's starting to stress me out. I am one of these people that overthinks things to the extreme, and things really do stress me out. And just because I've been stuck in bed for the last week and a bit after one of the worst flare-ups I've had for a long time, I think it's the injection, like, messing things up, like, you know, getting into my system and therefore causing a bit of havoc. I've just been staring at my collection out the corner of my eye thinking, girl, you need to do something about that. It's, you know, it's making my bedroom look even more untidy, and it's just disorganised, it's in disarray. So what I want to do is a declutter series, and it probably won't be a massive cutthroat declutter because, as I said, I spent a lot of the last 12 months reducing down my makeup collection, so I won't be getting rid of a huge amount, but there are things that I could get rid of, that I could, you know, I could focus on streamlining it a little bit. So what I want to do is a series of, like, reorganisation, give you a real, you know, full look at my makeup collection, have a little bit of a declutter as I go, and then reorganise and resort it all out. and that is something that I can do fairly easily because I don't have to have makeup on for it. I'm just going to do it with the camera overhead, and I can just sit in bed and do it, which is one of the things that has stopped me from filming, because there's been days where I haven't been well enough to get showered, put makeup on, do my hair, and I've just been too self-conscious to come on camera like that. So if I can just put, you know, put the camera over my hands and do my declutters and reorganise, then that's going to be, you know, some content that I can do. And also I'm planning on doing it, like I say, as a series, so there's going to be quite a few videos, because if I tried to do it all in one go, it would be probably about 4 hours long, and I already waffle on enough. So that's that. The other thing that I want to do is, I still have in a big box all of the makeup that I got for my birthday and that I purchased myself in January and February. It is a huge box of makeup. It is full to bursting of gorgeous luxury makeup, and I've left it in a box because I wanted to film a video. So I'm hoping that there's going to be quite a bit of content coming your way soon, but it'll just be a case of as and when I'm able to. I'm hoping that it's been just over a week since I had the injection, so I'm really hoping that things are going to start settling down. My flares will be a lot less and I'll be able to, you know, get on with things. So that's, I think that's everything that I was thinking of. I know I've talked a lot, and I know there's probably nobody watching this or nobody that even cares, but it's just things that have been on my mind that I wanted to just get, you know, get out. I love makeup. I always have, I always will, and I just want to feel some passion for it again. And feel passion for my collection. I mean, the products that I'm using today are things that have survived declutters that have probably not been touched for years. Those single shadows, those Makeup Geek and MAC single shadows, I probably haven't touched those for 2 years. It's so hard to do lip liner when you've got shaky hands. The blusher and the contour product that I used, I genuinely can't remember how long it's been since I've used them. So what I wanted to do today, oh my god, that's light. These lipsticks are Revolution Pro. Bought them, have never used them. I am such a luxury makeup fan that I really just don't touch the drugstore items that are in my collection, and it's such a waste because some of these are so good. So I've had to give up on my camera. It's just constantly dying, and now my memory card's full. So I've switched to my phone just for this very last little bit. So my makeup's finished. I made that lipstick work by just putting a bit more of the darker lip liner around the outside, and I've just curled my hair. I was going to put a decent top on and some earrings, but I've had enough tonight. So thank you for watching. I'm so sorry it was so rambly and oversharing. I'm already questioning whether to just delete the whole thing. I feel so self-conscious about talking about myself on this channel, and deviating away from just talking about makeup. So I hope it's been okay. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, leave me a comment, just so I know to, you know, that this content is okay and that you perhaps want more stuff like this. If not, I'll just go back to talking about makeup, or I just won't make any more videos because I'm going to stress about it and worry about it so much that I will probably retreat back into my dark little hole. But yeah, so this is the makeup look. I'm not completely happy with it, but it was good to use some older products and see how I feel about them, and you know, going forward for my declutters, it's given me an idea already on some items that I'm gonna purge from my collection. So thanks very much for watching. Love you lots. Bye.